The room sparkled with elegance, chandeliers casting golden light over the city's most powerful faces. Laughter echoed through the gala, champagne glasses clinking, and every conversation felt like a step toward the next big deal. But amid the glitz and glamour, one moment changed everything in an instant. A young woman, confident yet quietly observing, walked through the crowd. She was the daughter of a black CEO known for turning struggling companies into billion-dollar empires. Within minutes, whispers swirled, eyes lingered, and a cruel word pierced the festive air. Trash. No one expected such a personal attack at an event designed to celebrate success and innovation. The insult landed like a punch, shaking more than just the young woman's composure. It rippled through the room, creating tension where there should have been excitement, and just as she tried to collect herself, news began to spread. An enormous $750 million deal, years in the making, suddenly teetered on the edge of collapse. Business partners murmured, phones buzzed, and alliances that once seemed unshakable started to crumble. What could have caused such a dramatic fallout in mere minutes? Was it a coincidence, or was the insult somehow linked to the unexpected breakdown of one of the year's largest corporate deals? As the crowd looked on, unaware of the storm brewing behind polished smiles, the stage was set for a story of power, prejudice, and the high-stakes world of elite business. The question lingering in everyone's mind: what happens next when personal attack meets corporate pressure? The young woman's name was Maya, and she had spent her life in the shadow of her father's towering reputation. Her father, a self-made black CEO, had battled discrimination and broken barriers in an industry still dominated by old money and tradition. Maya knew the world she was born into was ruthless, but she had always believed her family's legacy would protect her. Tonight, that belief felt fragile. As the gala continued around her, Maya's mind raced. The word trash echoed in her ears, and she couldn't stop replaying the moment. Who had said it? Why? The insult wasn't just cruel, it carried a weight she couldn't ignore, especially in a room where influence and power determined the fate of billions. Meanwhile, her father had been in deep discussions with the other executives about the $750 million deal, a venture that could reshape markets and elevate their company to new heights. But something shifted during those negotiations. Texts flew across the room, subtle gestures became tense, and suddenly the confident smiles of potential partners faltered. Rumors began to swirl, the kind that could destroy a reputation overnight. Was the collapse of the deal connected to the insult aimed at Maya? Or was it a coincidence in the high-stakes world of mergers and acquisitions? Maya's closest friends whispered theories, each more shocking than the last, but none offered answers. Every glance, every hushed conversation, seemed loaded with secrets she couldn't yet uncover. In that glittering room, it was clear one thing: nothing would be the same after tonight. Maya would have to navigate not just her own hurt, but the dangerous currents of business, influence, and betrayal. And the real question remained: who had the power to turn everything upside down with just a single word? Maya couldn't shake the feeling that the insult had been more than a careless remark. It had been deliberate, calculated, and, in a room filled with ambition, someone had an agenda. As she moved through the gala, she noticed subtle shifts in behavior. Executives she had known to be cordial now avoided eye contact, while whispered conversations stopped the moment she approached. Each glance felt like a puzzle piece she wasn't supposed to see yet, each smile hiding a hidden motive. Her father, oblivious to the personal attack for the moment, was still negotiating, but the tension in the room was palpable. Lawyers and advisors whispered into earpieces, phones vibrated constantly, and every handshake seemed loaded with unspoken conditions. Maya's best friend, a rising strategist who had been working behind the scenes on the $750 million deal, leaned in and murmured, "Something's not right. This isn't just business, it's personal now." That comment sent a shiver down Maya's spine. Could the insult directed at her be linked to the deal's sudden instability? Across the room, other stories were unfolding. A rival CEO watched with a smirk, sensing an opportunity. Investors shifted nervously, their patience thinning. Maya's own team exchanged hurried messages, trying to stabilize the situation before it spiraled further. Meanwhile, Maya's thoughts kept returning to the question: who would risk billions just to strike at her? In that room of power and influence, every word carried weight, every gesture, a threat or an alliance. Maya realized that tonight wasn't just a gala, it was a battlefield, and the war had only just begun. By the time the gala reached its peak, the atmosphere had shifted completely. The laughter and clinking glasses felt hollow, a thin veil over the tension that now gripped the room. Maya's mind raced as she watched her father speak with his partners, his usually steady voice carrying a slight edge of urgency. The $750 million deal, once nearly certain, now hung by a thread, and every gesture, every pause in conversation, felt loaded with danger. Maya's thoughts were interrupted by a subtle commotion near the center of the ballroom. One of the key investors, whose approval was critical, had pulled aside a group of advisors, speaking in urgent low tones. Their eyes occasionally flicked toward Maya, and she sensed the silent weight of judgment pressing down on her. The word trash no longer felt like a personal insult. Alone it had become a symbol of influence, power, and the fragility of trust in a high-stakes world. Meanwhile, her father's team worked frantically, trying to salvage confidence and keep negotiations from collapsing entirely. Phones buzzed, notes were passed, and the pressure in the room was nearly unbearable. Maya's friend whispered again, this time more urgently, "This is bigger than we thought. Someone is playing both sides, and it could destroy everything in minutes." Across the room, rival executives exchanged knowing glances, sensing opportunity in the chaos. Maya felt the walls closing in, the stakes becoming terrifyingly real. Every second seemed to stretch, each movement charged with possibility and danger. And as she glanced toward her father, she knew one critical moment was coming, one decision, one reveal, that could either save everything or shatter it all. The room held its breath, waiting for the storm to hit. Just as Maya thought the tension couldn't get any higher, a new shock rippled through the room. One of the key investors, a notoriously cautious figure whose approval had been considered almost guaranteed, suddenly stood and announced a delay in the decision. Whispers erupted instantly, phones buzzed even faster, advisors whispered into earpieces, and the room seemed to shrink with the weight of the unexpected turn. Maya's father froze for a fraction of a second, a rare crack in his otherwise unshakable composure. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. The insult at the start of the night, the sudden instability of the $750 million deal, now it seemed the two might be connected. Had someone used the personal attack to unsettle not just her, but the entire room? Her friend leaned close and muttered, "This isn't just about money anymore. Someone's trying to manipulate everything, and they know exactly what they're doing." Across the ballroom, rival executives exchanged subtle, triumphant smiles, sensing the opportunity to gain advantage. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure Maya didn't recognize slipped through the crowd, whispering into an assistant's ear, sending another wave of tension through the team. Every eye now seemed to carry suspicion, every gesture a hidden message. Maya realized that the gala had become a high-stakes game of strategy, deception, and power, and she was at its center. The $750 million deal was no longer just about business, it was about influence, pride, and who could control the narrative. The question burning in her mind was clear. Who had the power to pull the strings from the shadows, and would they stop at nothing to see the deal collapse? The night was far from over, and the storm was about to hit its peak. The tension in the ballroom hit a fever pitch as Maya watched her father rise to address the room. Every eye turned toward him, every whisper fell silent. The $750 million deal teetered on the edge, the fate of the company hanging by a single thread. But instead of reacting with anger or panic, he began to speak with calm authority, dismantling the rumors and addressing the doubts that had shaken the investors. One by one, concerns were met with clarity and transparency, and the energy in the room began to shift. Maya felt a surge of pride as her father's team regained confidence. The insult that had started the night now felt almost like a distant memory, a spark that had ignited a chain of events leading to a stronger, more united front. Investors nodded, rival executives grew cautious, and slowly, the $750 million deal began to stabilize. It seemed that the storm had passed, the night's crisis resolved, but just as Maya exhaled, the final twist struck. Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number, a brief chilling text that read, "You think this is over? Watch your next move." Her heart skipped a beat. The insult, the deal, the chaos, it had all been a warning. Someone powerful was still lurking in the shadows, and the gala had only been the opening act. Maya glanced around the glittering ballroom, realizing the true lesson of the night: power and influence are never straightforward, and even victories can carry hidden